What is up, guys? It's your boy Torius, back in with another video. Back in with another video. And today I'm gonna be talking about how to get a girl in the club, right? It's funny because it's like, do I look like the type of nigga to be in a girl in the club after I just did that? Whatever. Smash the like button, comment below what you think, subscribe if you're new. Let's get into it. Alright, so I don't know. I'm just like, I have a lot of energy right now, so please bear with me if you're very low energy right now. But how I get a girl in the club? It's fine. I'm about to go get an energy drink. It's like, do I really need it? Pumped up right now, right? Pumped up. So yeah, you know, I used to be in the club a lot, right? Like, not really like to be in the club. I just cause I did interviews, you know, so I would always be in the, like, every time a rapper would be in the club and shit, I'd be like, oh, let's go try to interview them and shit. You know, I met a lot of celebrities. I met a lot of like people, done a lot of business. One thing though, I'm not gonna say that I haven't done it, but you know, like, I've gotten some girls in the club. Have I had one night stands with them? I have not. I have not, but I've done a lot of research on it. I'm just kidding. I'm gonna tell you about my experience, right? Like being in the club, and because there's a lot of times that people, like, you know, dudes never even been in the club sometimes, right? Like if you've never even been in the club, that can help you out. Like if you've been in the club, you kind of know what you're doing. You know, this can help you out too. But you know, like if you know, I want this to be like a video starting a community, right? Like basically, I want you guys to, like, if you have any like ways of like pulling girls in the club, I want you to comment down below. Like, what's the best way so that, you know, like, people that don't know how to do it, you know, they can just like read the comments and be like, oh, okay, you know. But yeah, let's get into it. You know, like I remember this one time, right? Cause I was just watching a video about this dude talking about how to get girls in the club, and he was saying how, like, you got to get the girls outside of the club, right? And I mean, he kind of wasn't wrong, right? Cause I remember one time there was this one. I went to the club like this one time, right? And I see these girls in line, and I saw this one girl make eye contact with me, and I was like, damn, she bad. But I was getting VIP, right? Because I knew the owner. And while it's funny because while these girls were like you know, waiting outside in the line, you know, they're like standing there in their dress and shit, just like, you know, chilling, being lame, like a lame as fuck and shit. And you know, they're just like chilling there in the line. You know, I'm over here getting in VIP type, right? So I'm just like feeling like, oh yeah, I'm that nigga. Because these girls are just like staring at me like, oh, who's that guy? Who's that guy getting VIP, right? So you know, I fast forward again. This is before I would like drink and shit, right? Like I wouldn't really drink, I wouldn't smoke, I wouldn't do anything. The only thing I did, I had like a pack of cigarettes just always on me, just in case someone was like, hey, who has a cigarette? And I'm like, here you go, right? You know, I didn't really do nothing in the club, so for me, it was always about business, right? Like anytime I was in the club, it was always strictly for business. Or cause at that time I had a girlfriend too, so it's like, it's not like I was really trying to get at girls. It's not like I was trying to pull any girls in the club. I was just like in there for business. But you know, I was still in the club. You feel me? Like I would see girls giving me choosing signals, like being like that, like girls talking to me, girls trying to get at me. I mean, I had a girlfriend, so I would like kind of shut it down. Sometimes I would take their number and just like take their number. But I would always still shut it down, right? But I remember I saw Shawty looking at me while I was walking in VIP, right? I could tell she was like, oh, who's this dude? And you know, I'm in the club, and it's funny because like when you get in VIP and everyone else is waiting in line, it's kind of boring in the club, right? Because, you know, there's like no one in there, right? You're like the only one in there, and you're like, oh, all right, I guess everyone's like, I was the only one in there for like 30 minutes, right? With me and my boys and shit, and you know, we're like waiting for people in the club and shit, and then people start coming in, and then I was telling my boy like, oh, let's walk around and shit, let's, you know, let's do some shit, let's not just like stand here, let's, you know, walk around type. And it's funny because I see Shawty that was staring at me, right? Like as I'm walking around, Shawty actually stops me, right? She stops me and she's like, hey, aren't you the guy that does the interview? And I was like, yeah. Right? Yeah. And she's like, oh my god. And then I just asked her for her number, right? And long story short, I invited her to the zoo. This is when I had no game, right? I had literally no game. And I remember inviting her to the zoo, and she never wrote me back. And I was like, oh, all right. I don't know why the fuck I did that. But looking back at it, if I was single, right? Because at that time I had a girlfriend, so I wasn't gonna do nothing anyways. But if I was single, I would have just told her like, hey, let's go to my car and get some coffee, right? If you watch Futurama, then you understand. But you know, I would have just done that, like, cause she stopped me, right? So I'm just like, all right. But yeah, like, you know, and the thing is like, is it the first time that's not the first time that happened, because people normally recognize me whenever I tell them like what I do, right? Like if I told them that I was a person that did something, then they'll be like, oh, I seen one of your interviews. Oh yeah, right? Like they'll tell me that they've seen it. But you know, like that was like one of the first, that was like the beginning of like my come up, right? Like when like the first time I ever like felt like I had fans, right? Like I had a fan. But that goes to show you, like, no matter how much of like celebrity that you are, it's so funny, bro, because the thing is like I never consider myself a celebrity, right? Because I'm just a nigga interviewing people. But the thing is like if I saw Adam 22, I'd be like, oh my god, it's Adam 22. And I've been like that because I've seen a nigga 100 fucking times, right? And I always like the same way. I'm like, damn, that's crazy, right? But I would never, because the thing is I only had like 11,000 subscribers, you know? Like now I look at people that do way less than me and they have like 200,000 or like 800,000. It's like, damn, am I a celebrity? Not really. I mean, people would stop me and people would tell me like, yo Nick, I fuck with you, bro, let me take a picture with you, bro, right? Like people would fuck with me, but it's not like I was like a celebrity, right? Like Matthew McConaughey or whatever. But it does help, right? Like it does help if you're just known for something. But let's say that you're not known for something, right? Then you gotta apply something known as night game. Night game, right? What's night game? Night game is talking to girls at night, right? Like that's what pickup artists call it. Honestly, I don't see a difference between night game and day game, right? Because to me, talking to women is talking to women, right? Like I will talk to a girl in the club the same way I would talk to a girl in the bookstore, right? And that was another thing I was thinking about. Is like they say like, oh, I wouldn't want to meet a girl in the club. I'd rather meet a girl. Like dudes always talk about how like it's better to meet a girl in the bookstore than it is to meet a girl in the club. Like who gives a fuck, bro? That's girls, right? In the club, it's the reason why is because it's easier to talk to a girl in the club, right? Low key. Oh, there has been times where I made so many mistakes. I remember being in the club one time. I was so drunk, and I didn't smash anyone, but I was just like talking to a whole bunch of girls, and I don't know, like I was just, because I don't know why, because bro, I had no game, right? Like I used to have no game, and I was in like motherfucking Tallahassee, right? I don't live in Tallahassee, and I was asking girls for their number. Like what the fuck? Why am I asking girls for a number? I'm not gonna see her, right? It's like I'm just looking back on this shit, and it's like, why the fuck did I do that? I also know. But yeah, we just gotta, you know, it's just like a shift in your paradigm, right? Like I was saying, talking to a girl in the club is just like talking to a girl in the street. Say, hey, what's your name? Oh, nice. Where you from? Right? It's just like, this is just talking to the girl. There's been times, I feel like I've met more girls in parties, right? Like, I used to love going to parties, because going to parties, girls are drunk and they're easy to like get at. And you know, it's just more fun. Like I'm grown now though, so I don't be going to parties. Like I got work to do. I only haven't decided to go to a party. I feel like I should go to more parties though, because I'm like getting older, and when you're old, you know, you don't want to be an old person at a party, right? I mean, clubs are basically parties, except the music is so loud, and it's like, damn, I don't want to listen to this music. I'm just kidding. It's just the music is so loud. That's why a dude was talking about in the video. He was talking about how like it's better to, exactly what he was saying. It's better to get a girl outside of the club, because then you can see, oh, she's actually pretty cute, right? Outside. Yeah. I've seen girls in the clubs. They're so bad, and then I see them in person, and then I'm just like, ew. I made a lot of friends with girls in the clubs too, right? Like friends as in like oh yeah, they've been very they've been there for me, and I've they've held me down sometimes when I needed help, right? And I appreciate them. So yeah, going to a club is definitely beneficial, especially like if you have any type of like entertainment business. You need to be in the club like 24/7, like every day type, right? Strip club, lounges, just out, right? Just out and about. Yeah, with that being said, like the video, comment below what you think, subscribe if you're new, and I will get back to you guys in the next one. Pieces, Reese's, pieces.